Hi everyone, it's Blake again with Northwinds Wilderness School. We're out here today in Grantsburg, Wisconsin at our campus. And a couple of months ago you saw us shoot a video of us disassembling the yurt that was going to become the headquarters for the company. Now we're going to put the yurt back together. We've been working on it for only about 20 minutes so far, and it's already turning into sort of a jigsaw puzzle. But I want you to be able to follow with us at the process of putting this thing back together and seeing maybe some of our mistakes so that you can learn from them, but then also seeing the process that we're using to put this yurt back together and get it livable. Let's go see what we've got so far. So what you're looking at here are the pieces that make up the frame. When we took this thing apart, Atreyu labeled the pieces from left to right and back to front. So you can see this is 4D, 3D, 2.2, 2D, 1D. So we know that this is the back of the yurt and that this beam will be A, B, C, D, the fourth beam in the frame. There's B, there's C. We're gonna go try to find A. Yeah, so the next step now that we've got these long stringers put back together is gonna be to lay everything out. Hopefully we can remember how we labeled everything so that it all lays out evenly. It should go A, B, C, D, E, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then these are the end connectors.
Maybe. What do you think?
Ready?
Yeah.
Oh no. Kirsten.
Whoa.
Nice.
Hey. Yeah.
There is much lower than way up here.
Oh, yeah, when we do that, that's what we're going to find out.
Well, we'll level it this way a little bit. Let's make this as hard on Jason as possible.
We should get a video of this.
For about 5 minutes of one episode. So we're working here on leveling the frame as we put it together. You can see here we've got the two main support beams put together with the skirting. That end is leveled. We haven't done the middle yet. And now this end is almost level. So we're at the end of day one, and you can see how far we've gotten. We got the frame built, we got it leveled, we got maybe half a dozen pieces of flooring screwed into place, and now we're piling all the wood up because it's supposed to rain. There was a lot more figuring out of things than we were expecting today. Taking this apart, we got this whole process done in like 4 hours. I guess I should have assumed that it was gonna be harder to put it back together than it was to take it apart.
This one's good, but
No breaking.
let's not do that again. Look at that.
Perfect.
All right.
Yeah.
Oh, come on.
Turn up the
This should be in place before I push a hole through.
Yeah, let's get this one here.
Oh,
No.
all right.
All right, we're at the end of day two. And you can see we got the base complete. This is 1.5 inch thick oak hardwood flooring, tongue and groove, that we've just spent, I don't know, 4 people times 16 hours, 32, 64 hours we just spent building this. Now we just need to get the yurt up. All right, you can see we've got the wall and door on, which I wanted to show the process of putting it up, but all three of us had to work on it, so I didn't really have the opportunity to film it. You can see what Atreyu is screwing on is called skirting. It's just a thin strip of board that goes around the edge that gives the wall something to lean against. And then you can see right here, there's these little metal clips that once the wall is thoroughly in place, these screw into that skirting and it helps hold the wall in place. This is just a big lattice work that folds up into about a 8-foot long sheet, and then you roll that up. So we unrolled it. We opened this thing up. The doorway is held in place by 5 screws. And then it wing nuts the wall to the door, and that helps hold everything together. That's the main entrance from the inside. And you can see, as I move here, the wall is pretty much in place at this point. The next step will be to screw the wall into the skirting and then put up the main support cable. So we got the wall in place, we got the door in place, everything is screwed together, and now Jason and Atreyu are putting up the main support cable. This goes all the way around the top, and it's what the rafters sit on. So what you're looking at here is the central ring. The glass dome will sit on here, and these are the rafters. You see these holes in the central ring, that's where the rafters attach. And what we're gonna do now, and unfortunately I'm not gonna be able to film it, is we're gonna raise 2 of these up onto that cable while somebody holds the third. Once it's up, I'll show you what it looks like. It's up. That center is now just above 10 feet. You can see rafter 1, rafter 2, rafter 3 holding the roof in place. That whole process took less than 5 minutes. All right, we're making progress here. I think we've got 6 rafters in, and Atreyu's putting in another one. The pin goes in the hole.
No, I think where yours is. You gotta get.
You line it up to the right spot, and the slot goes on the cable. We're making progress. All right, so the wall is up, the cable is up, the door is up, and the rafters and central ring are on. Now, we just need to start adding canvas. The first thing we'll do is hang the walls, and then we'll put on the roof, and then we're pretty much done. But as with all things in life, none of that is going to be quite as easy as it sounds. We've got the roof, the first layer of the ceiling on. This is the inner layer, so when you're inside the yurt, this is what you see. It's just basically white canvas in sort of a cone shape with a hole in the middle. And what you can see, those 2 guys over there are digging the roof insulation and the roof covering out of the snow. All right, you can see this kind of silver shiny surface. This is the roof insulation. Kenton calls this NASA insulation. I don't know what it actually is. It looks like Mylar. So this just sits on top of the cloth layer. So if you look at the end, you see the wood, the cloth, the insulation. From underneath, it looks like that. Now we're gonna put on the roof.
It's right here. Yeah, this is it.
So right now, Jason and Atreyu are unfolding the top. We're gonna tie a rope to one side and drag it over. All right, we just hung the wall insulation. I apologize for not filming it, but there's only 2 of us working on it now, and it's something we needed both of our hands for. And it's something super simple. You see these little ties here? You start at one end and you work your way around. You make sure your smoke hole and your windows line up, and then you just tie, 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 and you can see it's starting to look like a yurt. So it's still looking pretty rough, but we're making progress. Atreyu is clipping on the outer wall. The outer wall has little plastic clips. That look like this. And the rope goes through there. And you string it all the way around. And then it has grommets at the bottom that screw into the base. We're getting there. You can see that the outer wall is up, but it's not tight. Eventually it'll get screwed onto the base down there. That white rope is part of what holds the top to the base. And then the walls will finish in just a little while here. But you can see it's starting to look like a yurt. It's amazing what a couple of guys in the freezing cold with 6 hours to spare can get done. These rafters help support the snow load when there's heavy snow. They also make the road just a little bit more secure. You can see we've gone around the window, sorry about the ladder, from the door over there. And then you can see these cables here that I'm putting up in the rafters are called snow load cables. There's holes here, there, there, and there, where the cable goes through. And that also helps support the roof when there's heavy snow, which there is right now. That's Evie. She's kind of trying to sweep up the snow as we make the mess. All right, I got all of the snow load cabling in. You can see how it kind of makes a bit of a pattern on the ceiling as the cables go through. And what that does is it creates extra support for the rafters and the fabric of the roof itself in case of a heavy snow load. All right, now we've got the wall studs in. You can see almost every rafter gets one. We skipped the windows. We skipped the one odd rafter. These screw into the rafter at the top and then screw into the floor at the bottom. These aren't necessary. I've been told that the yurt will be just fine without them, but they help bear the weight of a snow load, and we do get a lot of snow here, so we thought we'd put them in. Well, folks, this is it. The functional part of setting up the yurt is done. The one thing we haven't completed is these grommets on the bottom of the wall will be screwed into the wood. We're not going to do it today because we're out of time. And then obviously the chimney will go right there, where the wood stove sits on the inside. We got the plastic windows up. I think once we have a fire in there and warm everything up a little bit, that will flatten out a little bit. We've got a little bit of tree trimming to do, as you can see. It's Evie.
Sitting down weirdly.
Sitting on a volcano. But this is it. This is our yurt.
And it erupted.
I will send you some updates as we get it decorated and put the final touches on it. Maybe we can live here full time someday. All right, so that was our yurt build. We've probably got, I don't know, 30 hours into putting it up. That's with anywhere from 2 to 5 people working at a time. Unfortunately, we did it over the course of almost 4 months. Just that's the way life works sometimes. If any of you have any questions about our process, or you've put up a yurt yourself and have any critiques of the work we did, I'd like to hear them. Please leave us a comment. If you know anyone that might gain value or learn anything from this video, please share it with them. And thank you for watching. I've really appreciated it.